Welcome to an Elevate Agility presentation. My name is Nicole Safely, and I want to say a big thank you for being here. This is because you could be spending your precious time on literally anything, but you've chosen to be here instead, and for that, I am grateful. And please, stay to the end because not only will you receive the persona sheet on how to sell your executives the transformation, but I'll also share with you some super exciting news at the end. In this presentation, we're going to be talking about the 5 main impediments that are preventing you from achieving true business agility. We'll expose you to those hidden barriers that you're likely bumping up against. You've felt them, maybe even tried to resolve them, but to no avail. Not only will we be bringing those to light, but we're going to show you how to resolve them once and for all so that you can shed that frustration and get some real results. When we finish, you'll be able to pinpoint the exact barriers in your organization and discover why frameworks like SCRUM, Lean, Kanban, and SAFe just aren't enough. I'll tell you, I grappled with these barriers for years in various forms. We get traction in one area and then bump up against one of these in another. And I'll be honest, before I knew the solution, I actually had a few instances where we didn't overcome them and that transformation stalled. That's really tough. That's why I do what I do today. I want you to be able to take advantage of the learnings and hard knocks that I and a host of other coaches and strategists have experienced. That's what you're going to be exposed to in this masterclass. I'm going to show you exactly what you can do to identify these in your organization, compile a transformation roadmap to address them, and get the right people on board. It doesn't stop there. I'm going to work with you beyond the class so you can finally get where you want in your transformation 3 to 5 times faster and save yourself years of pain and frustration. Are you ready? All right, let's dive in. My goal here is to demystify your understanding of the path to successful transformation. These are also the same keys that the best Fortune 500 and startups alike are utilizing to streamline the delivery of value to their customers. And I'll introduce you to the industry-leading model that will completely transform you into a super coach or a leader that can effectively lead your organization through their business agility transformation. Practically every organization or coach that's consulted with me has had at least one of these 5 common impediments at the root of their difficulties. And when we identified and solved for those problems, they saw their results improve practically overnight. My promise to you is that you'll be fully supported in your learning and beyond. I am all about getting results. Now, beyond just the model, I'll show you how to be an expert in business agility. This is actually quite a unique offering. When I was exposed to this model and I took the training, it was a 3-day in-person class. I had to take off work. And if you're like me as a consultant, that meant no pay, right? I had to pay for travel expenses, hotel, food, all of the things. But that's what we do to invest in our career growth. In fact, one of my new friends, Miles, was in that class. Miles is from South Africa. So he had to travel to Omaha, Nebraska to take the class. All told, it cost him about $10,000 to be in the class. So I really thought I was getting off easy. So there was the cost of the class, missed work and travel. And then it was just 3 days, and then I was on my own. Had I not aligned directly with Agility Health, I would have been back to my company, left to my own devices, armed with extremely valuable information, but on my own nonetheless to get it going. Now here's the deal. You're going to get the training on the EBA model that has been developed through more than 10 years of actually experience doing this stuff with companies, refining the model and vetting it with hundreds of coaches and leaders. And I don't stop there. I'm going to work with you even after the class so that you go back and have the opportunity to get this going in your organization. You will get results in your first 90 days, unlike a lot of other training. You know, it's great info, but then you don't have the opportunity to actually use it, or you felt lost when you face those challenges in the wild. So we're going to fix that for you. Plus, I've got a special surprise for you that will make Miles, the coach from South Africa, really mad about the way we're doing this now and wish that he could have done it this way. And with this solution, you will see real results in your organization in as little as 90 days. But before we continue, the question is this: are you in the right place? You don't want to be like that student who wanders off into the wrong lecture hall, right? I don't want to see your head down on the desk. And we all know the law of 2 feet. So this presentation is for highly motivated, results only, no BS Agile coaches and leaders. If your job is to lead organizational transformation across the business or even in IT, then this is for you. If your job is to deliver product, whatever that may be, faster with higher quality, this is for you. Perhaps your job is even to lead finance, HR, marketing, operations, customer support. The bottom line, if you need to work better, more streamlined, and meet the pressures of the business, your customers, your board of directors, this is for you. If you've ever felt defeated, frustrated, at your wits' end, or even at least held back in achieving your goals and aspirations because of those impediments that just seem to lurk around every single corner, this is for you. You can see the possibilities, but it seems that the simplest things are insurmountable at times. It's for that coach or leader who won't be held back. Something within them just keeps them up at night looking for different paths and ways to make an impact. You're currently dissatisfied with the things as they are in your organization or your business, or you feel that you've plateaued in your adoption of whatever Agile framework you've tried. You may even start to question yourself, wonder if it can really be done at all. You've got a burning desire to accomplish something meaningful. Most coaches that I know are intrinsically driven and love challenges to find a way or make a way. I'll be honest, there were times that I wondered what I'd gotten into, how I was going to make it all happen, especially when it felt that everyone and everything was stacked against what we were trying to accomplish. I personally talked other coaches off the ledge when they were ready to give up. I may have been included in that, but it's that burning desire to help the people, the organization, see something better, especially if you've seen how good it can be. You know what it feels like to work in high performance in an Agile organization or team where it does work. You just have to make it happen again. You're done playing small and you're ready to do something about it. You want results. The desire could be to help your organization meet its transformation goals or to streamline product delivery, so that your company can respond to market changes and emerge from events like the COVID-19 crisis with a fighting chance. Even selfishly, you may find yourself needing new skills to stand out in a post-COVID-19 job market. If that is you, congratulations, you are in the right place. You have to deliver. You have to have new skills. There's no time for trial and error, and you need to be on your game. This is what we're going to teach you. Now, you're probably wondering, who is this lady? My name is Nicole Safely. I'm an enterprise business agility strategist. Besides that, I'm a grandma to two littles. We've got a third one on the way, and I've been married to my husband, John, for 23 years. I'm the mom of 4 awesome human beings, and I'm a proud team player. I've had the blessing to be able to work with so many great people in this space over the last 15 years. I do have a technical background. I started my foray into Agile when I worked at Carfax on my first extreme programming team. I've got experience working with, XP, SCRUM, Lean, Kanban, DevOps, and any combination thereof that you could think of. I'm very passionate and driven by high performance, creating the environment where autonomy, mastery, and purpose can be achieved and people can do great things. I've been an Agile coach for 15 years. You can see all the little letters that go behind my name, but that is just so that you can know I have a wide breadth of experience and knowledge and actual practical implementation to help you actually achieve business agility. In my long career at Carfax, I was so blessed that we had leadership that was completely bought into the Agile transformation, at least from the technical side of the house, okay? We invested a ton of time and money in advancing our agility. We used to send 20, 30 people to Agile conferences, and we were just soaking up everything we could and implementing as much as we possibly could. We brought in the experts. If they wrote a book, at some point, they probably worked with our teams. It even got to the point that we outgrew the Agile conferences, so we started hosting our own. Andy Hunt, Ron Jeffries, Esther Jerby, Johanna Rothman, Lisa Adkins, Michael Spade, James Shore, and the late Dave Hussman. These were the thought leaders in Agile, some of whom were even signers of the original manifesto back in Snowbird, Utah in 2001. From that experience, I gained so much insight into how to be Agile, the mindset, not just simply doing Agile. And that is my driver. I want to give back. You see, I saw I lived what it was like when work sucked. We had outages every day. We struggled to get the right people to deliver, coordinating with multiple teams just to get one thing done, all the things that made it hard. Then, after working, refining, inspecting, adapting, we got it. High performance. We saw the benefits, but it wasn't without great sacrifice and relentless resolve to do better. That's why I do what I do today. I want you to experience this way of working too. I am a framework agnostic and a pragmatic coach and strategist that is driven to help people and organizations reach high performance. As I mentioned, I was at Carfax for just over 10 years, and then I decided to take my show on the road. As a consultant, I've worked with various large companies on their enterprise transformation, and this model has been used and vetted in some of the best Fortune 500 companies in the world. Here's an interesting fact about me. My driver to do amazing transformations isn't for the benefit of the business or the organization. What? Did she say that? I did. My driver is this. Work doesn't have to suck. We don't have to struggle like we do. My driver is to make work better for amazingly talented people to see the fruits of their labor, and those people are you. That's what gets me fired up. You want to do some awesome stuff. You want to help make the business and make work life fun again. Remember these people? If I'm leaving them to go to work, it better be good. I would imagine the same is true for you. You aren't about just collecting a check. I bet you have people that you love. You leave at home to work, and you need a good reason as well. You want to do amazing things. Well, let's take a look at those impediments that if you were equipped to resolve them, would get you, your team, your organization in a place to achieve your objective 3 to 5 times faster with less frustration and wasted cycles than if you tried to do it alone. So let's take a look at this. I want to share just a few high-level aha moments that made me realize that we needed Agile in the business and recognize some of those ancillary impacts that various departments in the business had a significant impact on our ability or inability to achieve agility at Carfax. The first one was our Lemon program. This was an annual individual recognition, performance recognition program where the president of the company would come out to the data center. He'd bring a big vat of lemons, and if you know anything about the car industry, a lemon is not a good thing. For us, it was good. It was a nice recognition of above and beyond performance for our team members. But it was an individual recognition program. As we moved into this Agile world, we, as leadership, were trying to create teams. So you can imagine how giving individual awards when it was really a team effort might impact your ability to achieve agility. Another one was our organizational structure. We were very functionally organized, so that meant it took 3, 4, 5 teams to create one product increment. That was a problem. Our delivery was not streamlined, so we had to look at organizational structure. The third one, just another example, culture, performance management, and HR, that was really all within the HR department. HR hired, they fired, they did all of that stuff. Well, we needed our teams to be self-directed, self-managed, and so we pivoted and had that training so that our teams could hire the right people, be held accountable for their performance and their delivery as a team, and sometimes even need to dismiss team members based on a lack of performance. So we needed to change our culture and even upskill our development teams to be able to take on some of this self-organizing team behavior. I'll tell you, those were 3 impactful things. And when I saw the EBA model and the process for actually executing on the transformation, I was like, again, where have you been all my life? It summed up everything that I had felt and experienced and grappled with, but never fully overcame at Carfax. These were all of the things that nobody told us about in an Agile framework. Okay? It just made sense, and I had to get the training and mentoring to give it one more go. Now let's take a look at those 5 impediments. To make this a little bit more relatable, I'm going to share some of the wounded needs I suffered over the years and the things that I learned that I got, like it or not, over that time. Now, you get the benefit of that experience coupled with the experience of multiple accomplished Agile coaches like myself. as we have created this model. One of the reasons I left Carfax was exactly this, the lack of buy-in from leadership. Okay, so lesson number 1 for you, don't ever utter these words. Don't worry, you won't have to change. That's what the vice president of our data center said to the rest of the business as we moved to extreme programming. We wanted to get good technically in an agile fashion, but we didn't want the resistance from the business and told them, you know, you're not going to have to change. So for a couple of years, we actually took 50-page spec documents and wrote user stories from them. We did our little agile thing in our space, but everything else was the old way of working. Well, that worked for a couple years. We got really good at delivering, but we knew we needed to move agility practices and mindset throughout the rest of the business. Well, guess what? Because we told them, don't worry, you won't have to change, they were a little resistant when we started to talk about things like SCRUM and even enterprise transformation concepts, okay? So don't do that. I will tell you, it was a barrier to getting buy-in from the rest of the leadership. But now that I know what I know, the companies that I'm working with that have actually gotten buy-in from their leadership, they are killing it. How would it be to have leaders buy into the transformation? Or not only buy in, but be integrally involved? What would that look like? The number 1 question that I get in my classes today is, how do I sell the transformation to leadership? So you've seen it. This shows up in various forms in the wild. Leaders who are obstacles, you know, they don't see the need to change and they're obstructionists in all their efforts to move agile through the business. You've got leaders who think that this is something they can delegate and support, but not really get involved. And then there are leaders who say they support it, that they want to be involved, but then their actions don't align to their words. And we've spent a lot of time through development of this model and actually being in the field and understanding the executives. Their drivers for change are often quite different than the view of the coach or the other team members in the organization. And when you figure out what drives these executives and how to speak their language, bam, you get an entirely different result. And that's exactly what we're going to teach you. The second thing here, lack of understanding of Agile beyond frameworks. An Agile mindset is needed, but Agile jargon is not. The business doesn't understand things like Scrum, Sprint, WIP. Come on, can you just speak English, please? If you merely take these Agile frameworks out of IT and lay them on the business, you'll see people's defenses go up. Quite frankly, executives don't want to hear one more buzzword, and I'm guessing many of you have already experienced some of this pushback. What they want is real talk. Not only that, those frameworks don't take into consideration many of the components like finance, HR, etc., that have to be addressed in order to be successful. So take an Agile mindset and help the business relate, and now people will get on board. Before I really got this concept, I was so perplexed at why people were resistant, and they'd look at me like I was speaking a foreign language. Not only that, I struggled to get executives to get on board with the transformation. But when I was able to expand beyond the current framework and the jargon to speaking the language of the various business groups, then we started to see them warm up to the ideas. They were getting it. In fact, they got very excited about what the transformation could do to help them reach their goals. It was like a night and day type of response. Yes, I'm an Agilist. Extreme programming, Scrum, Lean, Kanban, Safe, Less, DevOps, you name it. I've studied it, I've used it, I've learned from it, and I took the learnings and have moved on. While others were stuck in their dogmatic views and saying, you know, if you aren't doing X, then you aren't doing insert your framework. Hello, the goal is to get business results, not implement a framework. That's the old way of working. While many were out doing that, I was busy working with my colleagues to deliver the right value to our customers faster with higher quality and have fun doing it. Are you having fun at work? The third impediment, lack of clarity on a comprehensive transformation roadmap. Now imagine our surprise when we thought we were really good at XP, had brought the business in more using Scrum, but we were still not reaping the full rewards of Agile. Let's talk about the ability to pivot. We had no idea that the fact that we were funding projects instead of funding teams was affecting the way we were working and inhibiting true business agility. Our definition of done was completing all the features or the user stories for the project, even if we may have reached the goals long before we completed everything. We never would have known because we rarely measured back to our objectives. Oh, wait, we were too excited to start the work. We didn't even identify measures of success beyond just completion. Oh my. Contrast that to companies that I work with now. We understand that the way we fund projects matters, that when funding is done correctly in the organization, it significantly supports our agility. We also understand that we need to set outcomes and measures to those, which allow the business to pivot when needed. Now that's business agility. The fourth thing here, no real way to measure the impact of the transformation. You can't manage what you can't measure. That's an oldie but a goodie, and it's so true. We spent hundreds of thousands of dollars at Carfax on our Agile transformation, from training to conferences to staffing. It wasn't cheap. In the beginning, it was enough to say, just trust us. And from the old way of working, the benefits and improved delivery were evident. However, it wasn't long before executives and the board started asking, what's the return on investment on this thing? So there was that. We really had no way of showing from whence we came and what agility had done for the business. Secondly, as a coach, we were doing a lot of things, but we weren't really measuring if it helped or hurt. We weren't being very agile in our approach to our agile transformation. When I was fully exposed to the EBA model and that Agility Health EBA assessment, I was like, once again, where has this been all my life? Not only could I measure it, but I had a standard definition and understanding that we could use across the organization so that we were pulling in the right direction. We could do an experiment, observe and measure the impact, and decide what to do next. This was so powerful, and honestly, a shame that it came so late for me. You see, it was after I had left Carfax when I discovered the EBA model. Had I had these tools back then, I know I could have broken through the barriers to bringing the entire business along into business agility. And finally, our fifth impediment is the failure to focus on the metrics that matter. There's so many things that can be measured, but should you measure them or even measure them at all? Boiling things down to the things that matter most, when you can identify that North Star, you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish. This is something that I've struggled with for most of my career. We had dashboard after dashboard. I mean, at one point, the president of the company wanted metrics, okay? So some wise person, happened to be my director, who's also my friend, told him that we could calculate the cost of goods sold on software. Holy smokes. It wasn't long before we realized that that was not a valuable metric. However, because it was a number, we couldn't stop reporting on it. Cost per story. What value did that provide? What behavior did that drive? I'll tell you, it was not valuable. If anything, it caused gaming of the system. And if we broke things down super small and had tons of stories, then the cost per story would be lower, which is what the president wanted to see. But the adverse effects of that, what if those stories didn't actually provide any business value? What if they took weeks or months, or they were delivered in large batches? What if they were fraught with defects? We failed to measure what matters. So you can see here the 5 impediments. Number 1, lack of buy-in from leadership. 2, a lack of understanding of Agile frameworks or Agile beyond the frameworks. Number 3, a lack of clarity on a comprehensive transformation roadmap. 4th, no real way to measure the impact of the transformation. And finally, the 5th impediment, that failure to focus on the metrics that matter. So by now, you've probably identified at least one of these impediments in your organization. And you're wondering, how do we resolve any of these 5 impediments? While it may look or sound easy on the surface, it isn't altogether simple because, let's face it, if it was, you would have solved it by now. So you have 2 choices. You can walk it alone and try to figure it out. It really is a pretty simple thing. It's a simple process, but I don't want to say that it's easy. We've got 2 solutions that we can offer, and either one of them will help you to solve for those impediments and get your organizational agility going or further it if you've already begun. So you can walk it alone, or you can upgrade your skills with the workshop and get the support through our shadow coaching for 90 days. And here's what I found. Some people just want to take the training. They're seeking information and a new way of thinking about the transformation. Maybe they aren't really ready to take action, but they know that this is an area that's crucial for the success of the transformation. For them, the training class is enough, and that's certainly one option. For others, those coaches and leaders that I talked about earlier with that burning desire to find the solution, to make significant strides in the results they're getting, this stuff keeps them up at night. For them, we offer a fully integrated solution where the learning and the action are only beginning in the class. We take you beyond the training and into implementation, and we'll do a strategy session with you. We conduct an executive overview of the EBA with you and your leaders so that they understand the breadth of the transformation. Not only that, but we'll do a baseline measure of enterprise business agility and create a transformation roadmap based on what you and your leaders feel will be most important. Now, here's what I know. If you don't do this and get results in the first 90 days, you're missing a huge opportunity, and it's likely that the transformation will languish. Training, in my opinion, is worthless without action. So what you need to do, you'll see below, there's a button. You can just click that and schedule some time to chat with me. Let's find out what those options are going to look like for you and which is the best one to help you get results in your organization. Here's the deal. With the COVID-19 crisis, businesses are scared. Leaders are scared. Agile coaches are scared, right? I can promise you that in the post-COVID-19 crisis, bringing this model to the business along with the implementation is your best bet to end this frustration and inability to produce real results. Avoid getting laid off because you aren't seen as an essential part of the post-COVID-19 recovery, and finally see the impactful results that you've been seeking. You'll be indispensable, and you're going to stand out from other coaches in this space. Either way, the choice is easy. You need to become a certified business agility strategist. Okay, I'm not just going to telling you this so that you can go get a certification for certification's sake. I actually don't find much value in that at all. What I do find value is that this is a value-packed course that happens to result in a certification. And what we do after the class, that is critical to the success of your organization. So like I said, click below, schedule some time so we can figure out whether that walk it alone or the shadow coaching and training combination is going to be right for you. So what is an EBAS and what does it mean to be certified as one? After one of the last classes, I asked Phil what he thought, and he said this: EBAS is great for professionals looking for rapid skill set improvement, for people interested in learning more about agility, ranging from people looking to catch up to peers to those looking for new opportunities. EBAS is a great way to touch on a wide variety of concepts that immediately apply to the business world. As an EBAS, you'll be well steeped in the breadth of the transformation. We'll be covering everything in the model with an emphasis on getting you into action in your organization. You can see here that our model has 6 strong pillars with an underlying foundational requirement that really is the full comprehensive model to enterprise business agility. We'll talk through customer seat at the table, lean portfolio management. Of course, we mentioned organizational structure and design as being critical. We will lightly touch on Agile framework and mindset, as we believe those coming to this level of training are well steeped in the Agile frameworks. But we talk about Agile for technology teams and business teams and how to scale. We'll also dive into leadership and culture. In my opinion, this is one of the pillars that is most important and will be critical for the success of your transformation. And then finally, making it stick. How do we build internal change agents, measure our transformation, and how do we hire and do Agile talent management in this new way of working? At the foundation of this model is our technical agility. We know that vision and architecture matter, technical excellence and innovation are a must, and DevOps and continuous delivery are the practices that support our business agility. And finally, we'll talk about the 3 metrics that matter: flow, value, and quality. Yes, it started in IT, but we quickly realized that IT and the business weren't separate at all. It's actually all the business. In fact, the entire business could use the practices that we had mastered in IT. The next chasm that we needed to cross was to bring agility into the rest of the business. And that's when we started to uncover the problems across the business that were impeding true business agility, and not just uncover them, but we also began utilizing the right tools to solve them. You too will be able to do that once you become an EBAS. That's what we've done by bringing this workshop program to you. You're going to learn how to gain the buy-in from leadership, not only their support, but their engagement and championship. You'll be surprised to learn the key here. You'll have a comprehensive model and understand the full breadth of transformation to agility that can be leveraged to identify exactly where your organization needs to focus and work first. You won't be left to your own trial and error like we were back in the day. You're going to know what to measure and how to measure it effectively so that your practices actually support the transformation effort. When measurements are aligned with your goals, wow, you'll begin to see progress time over time, and it happens very fast. Armed with this strategy for transformation and paired with business agility thought leaders like myself, we'll take that learning beyond the workshop into your organization and get you started on the transformation. You won't be left to your own devices after the class like you're used to from other trainings. Remember, it's all about results. You'll have access to me for the next 90 days and beyond. You'll be able to tap into our amazing community of strategists in our private Facebook community. And I'll even work with you hand in hand to get your leadership on board and understanding the transformation and identifying where your organization feels the biggest impact will be in beginning that transformation. As Esther would say, big changes feel like existential threats. Small changes support learning. So although the enterprise transformation may seem a tall order, we'll approach it in a manner that supports learning and isn't a threat. Another amazing strategist, Jason, said this: my exposure to the EBAS model and course was when I was leading an Agile transformation effort across several divisions and 40-plus teams. It was a tough role where understanding what good looks like across app dev, DevOps, infrastructure, security, and business teams was a tremendous challenge. When you layered leadership agility, HR agility, and multi-year change management effort on top of that, it was a classic Agile transformation challenge. The EBAS course introduced a model that pulled all these challenges together into a comprehensive model with clear, pragmatic solutions to what I was wrestling with. All of a sudden, I could walk folks through the range of things we needed to solve for, get them aligned on priorities and expectations, and then access a ton of resources to reference in terms of what's worked elsewhere and some potential things to avoid. It was truly a game changer in helping me enable significant improvements in our Agile practices and overall enterprise business agility. I totally recommend it. Not only will you have clarity around the holistic picture of your transformation, but you'll be armed with the strategies to actually bring agility to the entire organization. Traditionally, this course has been taught in person for either 2 or 3 days. You had to take off work, travel to Omaha, Middle Earth, basically. You were away from the office. You had to pay not only for the class, but for the travel and the hotel. Not to mention that as soon as you got back to the office, all the other commitments you have came flooding in, and there was barely time to think about what you just learned. Now, albeit COVID-induced, we were offering this as a virtual class. We're going to offer that for you as a virtual class. That means that you get to stay home. There's no lost travel time, no expensive airline tickets. You're also not going to get sick, right? There's no expensive hotel rooms, and you won't spend 8 hours locked in a conference room. You'll still get the best of the in-class experience, which is connecting with others in the same space, interactive conversations, and learning while having the same time and attention to absorb and immediately begin to implement the things you take away. So here's what we're going to cover in the course. You will actually have an on-demand video library. Instead of just having the 3 days of training, you'll actually be able to access this on demand when you need it, come back to it, share it, however. So you've got that on-demand video library. There'll be plenty of hands-on exercises for application, and you'll be actually working in a learning cohort so you can bounce ideas off of other fellow students. We will have a private EBAS community of practice that will go on indefinitely so that you can connect with others in this space, ask your questions, get support, etc. You'll have a transformation roadmap, at least a beginning on your business agility transformation, and you'll have a measurement baseline, a clear indicator of where your organization is today, which will help to guide you in your transformation. And you can come back and measure how the impact of your transformation efforts. Now, the Elevate way is this. We're going to take you from not being able to get the results you want to a rapid organizational transformation. We'll do that by taking your detractors to getting them to have full buy-in. We'll go from chance to plan. We'll go from confusion to clarity, from chaos to predictability, from aimlessly walking and really accelerate because of this purposeful activity. We'll get you into flow, from trying to struggle with all of these dependencies to streamlined flow of delivery. And finally, we're going to take you from outputs to outcomes and transform the organization. Here's the course outline. You can see everything here. It's very comprehensive. I feel we've left no stone unturned. And then if we still have the opportunity to explore those topics as we work together for the next 90 days. Each lesson will include practical application exercises, worksheets, and assessments that you can use to help your organization, saving you a lot of time and making you look prepared and in control. We're going to take you from frustrated to elated. So let's take a look at what we discovered. You're going to go from the headache and impossible task of coordinating 4, 5, 6 teams for a delivery with competing priorities in every team and obstacles galore to a streamlined flow of delivery. Everyone's on the team needed to get the work done. The headaches go away. Instead of looking back at the end of the quarter and wondering, what did we actually get done? Because yes, the teams did a lot of work, but it didn't move the strategic needle. Now you can clearly see the alignment of the work to the strategy, and we're going to be able to measure to the outcomes to determine success. We're celebrating the right things. And on the people side, well, they're just happy. They've gone from feeling frustrated that they can't get anything done, work and context changing all around them, priorities changing so they never feel accomplished, to sipping that mimosa at the launch celebration party and giving all those high fives to the team members for a job well done. They felt high performance, and not only in their team, but through the whole process. This is how things should be done. That's what they're going to say. You'll go from feeling out of control to being in full control. If you're like me, you felt that frustration of getting one team or area going, moving to the next, only to come back and find that the original team had fallen apart. It's like trying to keep spinning plates going. No more. We're going to show you how to be in full control during the transformation and the secrets to make these changes stick in your organization. We'll take you from confusion to clarity. You'll have a clear method of evaluating your organization and creating a transformation growth plan that provides clarity and is repeatable in other areas. That clarity will also help others get on board in the organization, so you're all rowing in the same direction. The great news is, unlike an in-person class where you get no support after it's over, you'll have the ability to get on-demand coaching and mentoring, and even an option where I get to work with you on the transformation. So let's go on a little trek. If you saw this little hill in the backfield, you likely wouldn't think twice about how to climb the hill to get to the tree, right? What about here? This is a mountain you might see in Colorado, maybe 14,000 feet. Would you need a guide, a map, a trail plan? If you were a complete novice, you may hire a guide, but likely you would use a trail map and plan your trip and hit it alone. Or what about here? Mount Everest. Okay, now this is a different ball game. Do you need a guide, a hiking trail, and a plan to summit? Darn right you do. You would never attempt to summit Mount Everest without hiring a guide who had a map, a climbing plan, and lots of experience helping other climbers successfully summit. Nor would you just jump behind the Sherpa without the right equipment and training and conditioning, expecting the Sherpa to do all the work. Quite the contrary. Guess what? We're going to give you the model and the skills needed for you to become the Sherpa. Sherpas prepare the route for the climbers. In our case, the strategist looks at the organization, does a baseline business agility assessment with the leaders, uses change management, trains and does workshops with the various business people involved, and plans a transformation roadmap. A Sherpa is one that fixes the ropes in place. This is the key. You see, they have the experience from previous climbs. As a strategist, you'll be able to chart a path, although not the exact same one every time, but it will be informed by previous transformations. And this is exactly why the business will put you in the coach and strategist role. Finally, the Sherpa carries the climbing kit. You, the strategist, are carrying all the tools that the business needs in the transformation. You're walking right alongside them and helping them navigate the terrain. The most important point here is that if it weren't for the Sherpas, most climbers would not be able to get to the top of the mountain. It's no different in our case. For us, the mountain is the transformation, and there are so many summits, and it's not a path easily trod. However, equipped with a comprehensive model for a business agility transformation, you could be on a completely different trajectory 90 days from now. So click on the button below to book a call with me. Let's see if this is the right fit for you, as we only have spots for 15 people. And typically, we have a room full of people when it's delivered in person, so you can imagine that the demand for this is really high. On the call, we'll talk about the challenges you're experiencing and determine if the do-it-yourself or the shadow coaching option is really best for you. Are you ready to level up and start the trek? Usually when I share these stories, the heads start nodding, coaches and business leaders relate. Sometimes you may not be able to put your finger on it exactly, but you know these impediments are biting you every day. We've just put a container around those things that we've seen time and time again that inhibit organizations from attaining true agility and ultimately do what we wanted to do at Carfax: deliver the right product faster with high quality and have fun doing it. If this is you and you're ready to see how you can finally change this, finally stop banging your head against the wall, dealing with the frustration, and get the results you're wanting, then click the button below and schedule time with me to do a quick strategy session. The time is now. Knowing that as we rolled this out, there would be an influx of coaches and leaders who wanted to jump in. I mean, this is the perfect time to upskill and prepare for what's to come when we emerge from the COVID-19 crisis. Businesses will need this more than ever. And honestly, as a coach, I'd be thinking about how you're going to stand out among a sea of other coaches who are all clamoring for work. Bringing these new skills and abilities to your organization or your own personal toolkit will ensure that you are an essential part of the organization, and you'll be equipped to help the businesses emerge on top. So if you haven't done it already, go now and book your strategy session with me. Remember, I'm a coach, just like you. I've been there, done it, and was finally sensible enough to engage with the thought leaders around the enterprise business agility model, and man, it changed everything. In our strategy session, we'll talk about your specific situation, the organization that you work with, and your particular goals and aspirations. From there, we'll determine what best suits your needs, whether it be our fully supported system with the training and also a certified enterprise business agility strategist working directly with you for the first 90 days to take what you learn and actually get it into your organization. Or you may choose to simply take the course and go at it alone. Either way, you're going to make a great impact after you've gotten this under your belt. I'm certain of it. Go grab your spot now because the class starts soon and I won't be able to take everyone who wants in. Again, thank you for spending time with us. I hope you found a few ahas of your own. So go ahead, click below, schedule time on my calendar, and we'll get you going soon. Here's to your success.